Hello, Leo. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using White Newman, the Sacred Animal Tarot created by Elba BG. This is a Liminal 11 deck. Feel free to check out that website if you're interested. Supportive Oracle cards, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reid. There's some websites on the back. I didn't see the Colette Baron Reid one, but I was pretty confident it was here somewhere. I just didn't seem to find it. So feel free to check that person out. Just search them down on Google. I'm pretty confident you'll find her stuff. Okay, what do we have for Leo? The Seven of Cups showed up for you too. I think it showed up for Aries. Is that the one I just did? I think it showed up for Scorpio too, just to be fair. So, what do we have? There's a pattern. We're identifying a pattern. Okay, so we're identifying a pattern. If you're not seeing it, you're soon to see it, if that makes sense. You've survived through these things before. Just because you can overcome them and survive through them doesn't mean you have to. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like it's almost like if you're riding a bike and every time you hit this one part of a path, you keep hitting this one stone and it screws up your tire and you got to fix it. Just because, you fall off the bike, you get a couple bumps and bruises, and you fix the bike and you go again, doesn't mean you have to accept that rock has to stay there. It's kind of like, you know that this rock is there. You know that every time you come around, sooner or later you're going to hit that rock. How do we stop doing this? Do we need to change the path? Do we need to remove the rock? What options do we have? Because there's a pattern here. They're saying you keep coming around. Sooner or later you keep doing this, and I feel like you're acknowledging that it keeps happening. What control do you have over this so this doesn't keep coming back? So for some of you, it could be a relationship thing. Maybe sooner or later there's a relationship. It doesn't have to be a romance every time, but maybe there's a family relationship one time. Maybe it's a friendship. Maybe it has been a romantic relationship. Maybe it's been a coworker where people maybe, take advantage of you. You end up doing too much for them, and then they turn it back around on you like you're the problem when you're the one that pulled them out of the problem. I feel like that's specific for somebody for sure. People warm up to you, they praise you, they thank you to your face for getting them out of a situation, but when push comes to shove and they start getting blamed for screwing things up, they're like, well, Leo did it that way. It was Leo who did it. Meanwhile, you're the one who saved their butt. And it's probably not the first time this has happened. This pattern is coming forward again. Because I see somebody might be treating you a little awkwardly. Somebody might be treating you a little awkwardly, but they seem to still be on your good side. There's something here that doesn't feel right to you. I'm getting there's something that doesn't look right. Something isn't happening right. This is something you've gone through before where people just start acting a little bit awkward. Maybe they're hiding things from you, or maybe they're distancing themselves from you. Because something is it's starting to happen already. Because I'm getting the truth is yet to be seen, but it will come forward. I see the Emperor coming in with the spiral dance. The truth will come forward. And they're saying this time, whatever you're dealing with, it may not be avoidable what's about to happen, but they're saying look deeper this time. Try to figure out what's going on. What happened here? You did something really good, but it feels like somebody turned it against you. What were the characteristics of this person? How did this happen? Also, you might want to look a little closer at this person. Maybe they're in their own pattern. Maybe this is how they get out of bad situations. It reminds me of somebody who they constantly every 7 years get they get, what do you call it? Every 7 years they do that. What do you call that? A bankruptcy? Somebody who does bankruptcy every 7 years or something like that. That's a bad pattern that they keep doing, and it's just kind of they blame everybody else, but they never take accountability for how they contributed to it. So maybe look a little closer at them, especially if you can look back and be like, well, it's not the first time they've done this to somebody. I just didn't think they'd do it to me. I hate using this analogy, but I guess I'll do it. Maybe it's like one of those, also this situation where you got in a relationship with somebody and their past partners were all evil people, but you're the good one. And now it comes up, it's your turn up at bat to be the evil person, even though you're not. But like, you know what I mean? Something like that. I'm just saying. They want you to break this pattern. That's the point of this reading. So how do we help you break this pattern? Because right now it feels like you're being sacrificed yet once again, and you shouldn't be sacrificed. The Seven of Swords is kind of like you're the scapegoat in this one. Usually it's the thief card or somebody skipping away without paying their dues. But this version of the deck, it's kind of like, it's not really my fault, but I'm getting like, the real thief is getting away and I'm getting blamed for things unfairly. That's how it feels here. So how do we change what's going on here? Or how do we like break the pattern? Because that's what we want. We got to stop participating in it. Okay. Some of this we're never going to understand. Some of this situation is just never going to make sense. I'm getting the Wise Woman of Wonderland, and I get the Wheel of Fortune. Holding true to your integrity and not playing into the game, that's the hard part. So it's kind of like owning up to whatever your part was and why you did it. That might be just being right forward of it, not adding anything to it. In fact, if you can do it by email, this is what I did, this is why I did it, and just leave it there. This person asked me for help, so I did that. I did this to get things back online. They asked me to do it, so I did it. And just let it be. Don't try to find out why things were the way they were. Okay, that seems really odd. But because I get like it's like a rabbit hole that doesn't lead anywhere. It's just they're going to lead you in twists and turns and just make the situation more confusing. If you try to find the reasoning, if you try to find the proof, you try to find this, you try to find that, I just feel like it gets really twisty and it never leads to the actual truth. Not at this point. We need to stabilize this situation. If it's a loss, accept it for the loss and step away from it. You definitely want to look back and look at why it was a loss, but don't engage the people who made it fail, if that makes sense. Because they're not going to give you the truth, and they're not going to show you where this went or where that went. Because I feel like whatever's going in here, I feel like you got sucked into something and people took advantage of you. Probably of your good nature. Okay, so I'm seeing some energy over here, and I just want to see what it is. It's the Two of Pentacles, half in, half out, and then it's the Strength card, half in, half out. Coming on top of the Page of Pentacles and the Chariot card. If we can identify how this started and what actually pulled you into the situation, I feel like you can end it. Like, what was it that kind of triggered you to get involved here? And I feel like they're saying, this is going to play out the way it's going to play out. You got the Wheel of Fortune here. How bad it gets is kind of questionable about how bad the other people are playing into it, along with how much you engage the situation, to be fair. But we really want to look at, like, what enticed you to be a part of it? What enticed you? What part of it did you believe in? Because if you look back and you find it in this situation, you might be able to find it in the situations before that. Not in the sense of dwelling on it, but kind of like, wait a minute, that's what this person said, that's why I got involved. And you know what, if I look in the one before that, the person before that said something fairly similar, and that's how I got involved in that. And if you look before that, I see how it happened there again. You don't have to dwell on it. But if you realize it and you look back just a couple times and you just see it a couple times, like, oh, that's how that happened. You don't have to dwell on it, but next time somebody comes forward and they say something similar, you're going to be like, wait a minute, this sounds familiar and I don't like it. And why don't I like it? You just take a minute to think about it, like, oh no, I'm not going to do that again. I've done that multiple times. I'm here to break the pattern, not play the pattern one more time. They're trying to show you that there's a pattern here. You don't have to keep repeating it. If you can get out of it, you got a lot of good things coming your way if you can get out of it. A lot more success, a lot more of what you actually want. If you don't recognize it and don't look at it and just don't do that self-audit, if you think, well, it's just people being sucky and it just happens and there's nothing I can do about it, you're going to have the Phoenix play out in your game. And the Phoenix, yes, it's a beautiful energy, but I feel like I've used the energy of the Phoenix myself, and I've known a couple other people who have too. It has a pattern. Yes, you burn bright, you burn brilliantly, but you will always burn out and you will always crash to the ground. You will rise again, but do you really keep crashing? Do you want to keep going through this pattern? Honestly, if you're okay with that, if you're at peace with that, that is your business. Do what you want to do. I'm getting for the most of the people this is going to hit for, they're like, you want to end this pattern. You want to end this pattern, that Phoenix energy is not working for you. You want the good, you want to live in the good, you just want to be happy with the good. You don't want to keep crashing and burning. Sure, you keep coming back to these great moments and you fly high, you burn bright, everybody sees you, but then you crash too. You don't need to do that. You can just enjoy the good stuff. You don't have to keep doing this pattern. You can break this pattern and just make it what you want it to be and not be subject to this cycle that you're not enjoying half of it. Half of it's the crashing and burning and then rebuilding. Half of it you don't like. Sure, half of it is fun, but half of it isn't. Keep that in mind. So if this reading is hitting and you're like, yeah, this has happened before, they're saying do that self-audit. How did you get involved? Look at it a little bit farther back too. How did these other people match that same energy when you got involved in this before? If you see it, you don't have to dwell on it. Your brain will remember. The next time it starts playing out, and it will, but the next time it does, your brain will go, wait, I don't like this for some reason. Why don't I like this? And then it'll click, like, oh yeah, that. Oh yeah, that. Oh, I'm not doing this again. And you're out. And you're done. And then you don't have to do the pattern anymore. If you don't get involved in it, if you don't participate, you're not in it. That's the end of that pattern. We're done. It won't be the last time it comes forward in your life, even though there'll be at least one more, but won't be the last time, but every time it comes forward after that, it'll just click that much louder. Like, it'll be louder every time. Like, I'm not doing that. I've done that way too many times. Not interested. Not here for it. Goodbye. Keep that in mind. Alright, so hopefully that helps. I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.